Have you ever wondered why you actually play video games? There are many answers to that, but one thing stands out particularly in the history of video games: storytelling. While it's not mandatory in every game, it ensures that we remember these games positively. We're talking about storytelling. From indie games to AAA blockbusters, everyone has their preferences and their own memories of their favorite story-driven games. Today, we'll explore how storytelling in video games has evolved from a mere accessory to one of the most important elements. Welcome to Rifted. The first attempts to incorporate storytelling into games already existed with Space Invaders in 1978. Of course, it has little to do with modern storytelling. No dialogues, no cutscenes, nothing at all. But the approach is clear and understandable. Aliens want to attack Earth, and we must defend it. As the enemies became faster over time, this could evoke a sense of urgency and desperation in players. Space Invaders was a huge success during the arcade era and demonstrated that a strong thematic setting alone could be enough to emotionally engage players. The first example of proper storytelling is The Legend of Zelda from 1986. I think most of you are probably already familiar with the story, but for those who aren't, I'd be happy to explain it briefly. In this game, you take on the role of Link, a hero who must rescue Princess Zelda and protect the Triforce of Wisdom from the villain Ganon. The world is open, and the player can explore it at their own pace. This was the first time a narrative with dialogues and clearly defined characters could be seen in a game. The Legend of Zelda can truly be considered a milestone in video game storytelling. It combines a complex story for its time with the first open-world elements, successfully immersing players in this world. This paved the way for games with increasingly detailed stories. Of course, alongside game development, technological advancements were also progressing. Perhaps the greatest invention for video games of that era was the emergence of the CD-ROM. Compared to previous storage media, it offered significantly more storage space, opening up unprecedented possibilities. The best example of this is probably Final Fantasy VII from 1997. This game utilized the then-new CD-ROM technology of the first PlayStation, allowing it to use a completely new medium of storytelling: cutscenes. This made it possible to present stories visually much better, and simultaneously ensured that video games gradually became capable of competing with movies or novels. This was taken to the next level a year later with Metal Gear Solid, which for its time employed cinematic storytelling techniques for the first time. Additionally, it drew heavily from Hollywood action films in terms of camera work, music, and dialogue direction. They spent so much time on storytelling that cutscenes were sometimes minutes long and included many dramatic twists. Furthermore, in this game, players could influence the story through their own decisions, which made them feel even more connected to the narrative. Time passed, and game development naturally continued unabated. In 2004, Half-Life 2 was released, presenting a new type of storytelling. Here, the story was told entirely through the game world, completely without cutscenes. Clues about past events, such as destroyed buildings, graffiti, or propaganda screens, convey the oppression by the so-called alien regime, the Combine. Everything happens in real time and from a first-person perspective, aiming to create strong immersion which worked remarkably well for its time. Another noteworthy example from this period is BioShock from 2007, which attempted to work with a mix of direct and indirect storytelling. In addition to cinematic cutscenes, there were also narrative elements through the game world, similar to Half-Life 2. In BioShock, interactive storytelling was taken to a new level, as not only player decisions influenced the game's ending, but the thematic exploration of responsibility and ethics was also intensified, such as with the Little Sisters. Overall, BioShock is characterized by a complex, philosophically grounded story that directly engages the player and confronts them with profound moral questions. And that was in 2007. At that time, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 were still young consoles. And during their lifespan, much more was yet to come. The 2010s can be considered the pinnacle of story-driven games. The year 2013 stands out particularly. On one hand, because of The Last of Us. Anyone who has played this game fondly remembers the story of Ellie and Joel. There is virtually no game set in a post-apocalyptic scenario that is more gripping than The Last of Us. Thanks to the technology of the time, it was already possible to depict facial expressions and gestures in cutscenes so authentically that they allowed players to empathize wonderfully. Additionally, the transitions between gameplay and cutscenes were seamless, making the game even more immersive. The Last of Us must be hailed as a masterpiece, just like its successor. The second masterpiece from 2013 is, of course, GTA 5. Here, the GTA series broke its tradition of telling the story with only one main character for the first time. Instead, with the three characters Michael, Franklin, and Trevor, it created an exciting way to tell the narrative from various shifting perspectives. The characters especially differ so much because each represents a different lifestyle and social class. This enhances the overall thematic diversity of the game. Of course, GTA 5 is also a prime example of cinematic staging. Just watch the heist missions to quickly notice that they sometimes feel like you're in an action movie. The dialogues of the individual characters are also in a league of their own. The mere fact that real actors were used for the three protagonists shows the level we're operating at here. It can definitely be said that GTA 5 remains the quintessential example of good storytelling and can certainly be called a masterpiece. Of course, several other games followed that also have their strengths in storytelling, but that would now exceed the scope of this video. The coming years are sure to offer a lot in the realm of storytelling. In the near future, we can hopefully expect GTA 6, which will most likely be a storytelling fireworks show. But looking further ahead, even more possibilities await us. For example, consider the advancements artificial intelligence has made to date. Imagine what possibilities that could still offer. And of course, we must not overlook virtual reality. Every year, new technological advancements are achieved, offering new possibilities for immersive storytelling in the future. So we can conclude that the future is more than promising. And that's a good thing because good storytelling in video games is an essential factor. It ensures that we are captivated by games and that even if we haven't played them for a long time, we fondly look back on them. Which games have moved you the most emotionally? Share your experiences and favorite moments in the comments below. Feel free to support my channel by liking this video and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any videos. Until next time.